Welcome to today's stream. We will be going through the NBA draft lottery and getting our final preview done today. This stream also marks the official starts of our Seattle Supersonics subscriber-led team beta test, which I'm very excited for. If you don't know what I'm talking about, here at the start of this stream, I want to just quickly rehash what that means. I have a second channel, Fiend Family Franchise, youtube.com/@thefiendfamily, where I will be allowing my subscribers to manage the other expansion team in our Vancouver Blizzard draft only franchise. Need more subscribers on this. After we figure out where exactly the Sonics will be drafting here in the lottery, I will be putting something in the community tab here. So have those notification bells on. And there will be a Google form for you to fill out to create your draft board. Shout out any prospects that aren't in the top 6 that you really like, etc., etc. I already have, as you can see here up on the upper left, that Google form started, but I have to kind of wait to see where you guys pick before I officially make it. So, with that being said, let's get things started here for the offseason officially underway. Before we get to the offseason news, I made a couple of appearance updates for our players. Let's start here with Greenlight McKnight, who, they undid all my appearance changes. Well, guess what? I'm going to redo them. Greenlight McKnight, he's got a little bit of baby face going on, so I don't want to give him like anything insane like this, but I just wanted to give him a little bit of scruff. Age him up a bit. He's in his mid-20s now. I think it's time for him to have a little bit of facial hair on him. The other guy that I updated was Albert Ellis, who's going to be going off of the mohawk. He's also going to be making his hair black just because I think it looks better in the game than the brown hair, as well as just a little bit more of a full beard. And did I make that black? I can't remember. Nope. Let's have it match the head on the top of his head. That'd be a little awkward. New look for 2 of our stars. Ellis hoping to put that 35% from the field playoff series behind him officially. New haircut, let's go. All right. And then the last one I wanted to do, just because his hair looks like he's almost bald and he's 20 years old, you know what I'm saying? Let's put a little hair on my boy Rodman here. Nothing crazy here. I can't even remember which one I did. This one right here. Just a little bit more hair on the fella. With that being said, we're now ready to go. I thought about updating Ayrton Saramago's look, but I actually really like Ayrton Saramago's look. Also, thanks to everybody who's already been active in chats. Rickety Bridge, aka Exaggerated History, Johnny. Always in the chat and the comment section. Appreciate you, Master Lemon. Shout out to you guys. Merry Christmas, Master Lemon. Pre-Christmas weekend. I had to do the stream a little bit early because I have some pre-Christmas weekend plans. So, going into player retirements here. We have a couple of Kings players. Damian Lillard, as suspected, does retire. Andre Drummond hurts, man. He's such a good mentor for centers. I was actually counting on him next year. Look at all these awesome center badges, man. I was hoping we'd get a little bit better. Well, one more year out of him at least. Sonics have Bradley Beal retire, but Paul George doesn't retire for the Supersonics, so you guys could keep him around if you want to be a mentor to whoever you select. That's interesting. Buddy Hield retires for us. He's starting to lose his value as a mentor, so that's fine. The one that hurts, I mean, Dame hurts, right? Because he still has good badges. But I was expecting that one. I wasn't expecting Drummond. All right. Oh, whoops. Staff retirements. Rick Carlisle's done. Terry Stotts. Somebody on the Supersonics. Hall of Fame. You get Kawhi. I didn't even notice Kawhi retired. Kawhi's gone. Dame's gone. And they're both going to be in the Hall of Fame. I imagine they'll both get their jerseys retired, and they will. 2012 to 2023 for Dame in Portland. Kawhi 2019 to 2028. One more thing to do before we hop into the lottery. I'm going to hide my webcam for this so you can see. Top teams from each conference are seeded in their respective conference based on record. Doesn't this take out the play-in tournament? I don't know if I want to take out the play-in tournament, so I'm going to force reject this one. Change the number of fouls required before a player fouls out to 7. I mean, just based off of Saramago fouling out in the Game 7, I kind of like this. Do you guys think we should keep it approved? Can someone link the second channel? Yeah. I'll do it right now. I'll send you the link to it. Yeah, free time. It's like a Bucks fan. Awesome NBA Cup victory recently for the Bucks. Here we go. That is the link to the second channel. Should probably have that more readily available. But that'll get you right on over to the second channel to drop that sub if you would. That would be excellent, because I'm gonna need at least, like, I'm talking at least 20 plus votes on these things to make it worth it for me. So, all right, I think we're gonna keep this. I think it's a fun addition, an additional foul out before people foul out. Additional foul before they foul out. And that means it's time, ladies and gentlemen, for the NBA Draft Lottery. I gotta cue up my music so we can have happy music or sad music, depending. Let's get things underway. Supersonics have number 11. Did I say number 11 or 12 that they had? I can't remember. They have the number 11 because they get the swap best between Cleveland and Utah. And they have number 1 and number 2 in the lottery odds. But where is it that they will ultimately select? Let's get the lottery underway. Warriors sticking at 16. You usually don't see too many changes here prior to like 10. Although we're obviously hoping 11 jumps. Or at least you guys are. I don't know if I'm rooting for you guys to have 3 top 6 picks. Appreciate that. Having fun with the Browns series so far. It's been a while since I played Madden on the series, and I enjoy Madden despite the game's faults. It's really my love for the NFL more than anything. Football is my favorite sport to team build in. But decided to get I think Mr. Hurricane starting his Jaguars franchise certainly kind of jump-started me to trying to get it back. The Sonics will stick and pick at 11. I think I might have said 12, but it's going to be 11 instead of 12. Memphis will be at 10. So far, we get the first jump, and it's going to be Boston. I was just about to say, so far, everything's clean. But the first jump is there. The Nets stick at 8. Portland up next, and they will stick. Does Boston really need to get better? I don't even know if they're keeping their pick. Boston might owe this pick. Who knows? We'll see. Might have been a protected pick at the very least. Madden is bad since 2K got taken away. I've actually enjoyed Madden here. Seattle goes from number 2 to number 5. Dropping in the lottery here. Pelicans land at 4. Next up. So you at least have one top 3 pick. And the Lakers have landed the number 3 pick in the draft. Top 2 pick incoming for Seattle. You're guaranteed one of Oliver Thompson or Milos Novak. Boston will pick number 2. And that means we got to switch to some happy music as the Seattle Supersonics. Which excited music do I even go to here? Number 1 in the draft. Seattle wins the Oliver Thompson draft. They will select number 1. So that takes the entire question of whether Seattle needs to trade up at all just out of the question. You guys have the number 1 pick naturally. Unfortunate a little bit there. I think I actually predicted 1 and 5. So I feel pretty good about that. I predicted 12 because I thought that's where Seattle's other pick was. But if I'd known it was 11, I would have picked 1, 5, and 11. So, yeah. Celtics and Lakers at 2 and 3 is really funny. But there you have it. Number 1, y'all already winning the lottery, something I haven't been able to do. I did it in my 2K23 or 24 series. So I'm not too mad about it. 1, 5, and 11. So with the draft lottery out of the way, it's time to actually, now that you know where you're going to be picking, to figure out who you want. The top 2 in this class is very good. Now, I don't want to influence what you guys do at all. I'm just going to present them in the order that they are consensus. And then shortly after this stream, I will be creating the Google form where you guys can submit your own personal rankings. Let's go through. I want a little bit more kind of chill music here as we go through this next part. Number 1 consensus prospect in this class is Oliver Thompson, projected to be an 80 overall, just still 18 years old. I don't know if he'll turn 19 prior to the draft, but as of right now, he is 18 years old. 6'11", only a 7-foot listed wingspan, so he doesn't have like an insane wingspan or anything, but it's still a 6'11" power forward with a 7-foot wingspan's plenty good enough. Really good shooter for a 4. Can rebound, can play interior defense, can score at all 3 levels. He's the same kind of prospect that we've seen generated before. Johnny should get 4 votes. I want everyone to vote once. I don't think there's any way I can keep people from voting more than once, but I do want to keep it to 1 vote per person because this is supposed to be a democracy. Everyone equal. But I don't think there's technically a way if you have multiple addresses to keep you from voting more than once. We've seen this exact ceiling floor before, including Ayrton Saramago. And in the Suns guy, Hardy. I would rate Oliver Thompson in the middle of the 4 kind of players in this same mold that we've had. I think Ayrton Saramago is a little bit better just because he was a little bit bigger. But I do think he's better than Hardy because I think his base potential is up there. It was requested that we look at this, the comparison bars here. And yeah, that potential is looking pretty dang good for Oliver Thompson. Well over the comparison bar here. Second consensus. I'm not going to go through the prospect highlights clips in this episode. I'll save those for the actual draft. I also already showed you them in my initial prospect preview. Milos Novak, number 2. B+, all 3 levels of the court scoring. And an A+ on perimeter defense as well. Of the guys that I watched for one singular half in college basketball, he had the best half. He was unstoppable on the drive. A+ potential out of Lithuania here. His only drawback is he's a 6'4" point guard, 2 guard, and no badges. But you get him a good mentor, the badges won't be a concern. And yeah, 6'4" at 2 guard. Maybe you could try to turn him into a point guard. And then all of a sudden 6'4" looks pretty good. But speaking of point guard, the 3rd consensus player in this class is Stan Hayes, who leads all players with the most badges with 5 to start. You look at this comparison bar, it is above average, maybe not as high. I don't know if I did this for Novak, so I'll do it real quick just in case I forgot. Looks pretty much the same as Oliver Thompson's did. Hayes here above average on the potential, most starting badges. He is 22 years old though. Well, what you like about him is the things you want to have high for a point guard are high. A+ defense, B+ perimeter playmaking, B+3, B+ inside. Good IQ, great physicals, great potential. The 4th consensus player in this class is Tommy McGee. He's the lowest overall of the top 6, but he has oodles of potential. We saw him dominate in the post in the 1 half that we saw from him. Great interior scorer, great athlete, good rebounder, great potential. You look at this, well above average, even though it says C here, that's just not right. We've learned that. Why is it on personality badges? He also is the only prospect I've ever seen 2K generate with a silver badge to start. It's Pogo Stick. It's not the most exciting badge to have it silver, but that's cool. Having a silver badge already on a prospect that was generated by 2K. You know, custom classes have it all the time, but 2K generated players almost never do. 6'11", 270 pounds. Both of the centers in the top 6 are really insane weight, and so is Rudolph Garrett, to be fair. 2 guards, 6'9", 254 pounds. That profile reminds me a lot of Sidney Lowry, but that's kind of where the comparison ends. I mean, the play styles are similar. Rudolph Garrett's just not as good as Sidney Lowry was last in 2K24. 2 badges to start for him. If you look at his grades, the one thing you're going to notice is he has the lowest potential out of anybody in the top 6. He has average potential. So, That's the downside with him. Out of everybody in the top 6, he's the one with the lowest potential. But his day 1 skill sets is really intriguing. Shooter, defender. He has B playmaking. I feel like that's mostly dribble moves. In the half that I watched him, he didn't really pass, which is fine. Some guys, you just need to be bucket getters, and that's what Rudolph Garrett is. He's a bucket getter who will play solid defense and has good size. That average potential is probably going to end up being like an 83 or an 84. So how much do you value upside versus a guy who was already pretty good? Rudolph Garrett's more the guy that's already pretty good. And then the final guy in the top 6 is Michael Graham. Those are kind of the only guys that I would probably consider if I were you guys with my picks 1 and 5. You could go outside that if you wanted. Of course, it's your team. Great rebounder here, good potential. Not as nearly as good of an athlete as the other center, but better starting skill set defensively. Both guys are kind of meh shooters, but you never know, it could develop. With center, it's hard to tell if shooting ever develops. Thompson will be good too, but do you want to build around a... That's true. That's true. I think it's easier to build around a good guard. Although if you get a dominant 4 like we have in Ayrton Saramago, that's been really fun. I think Thompson will be a different kind of player than Saramago once he gets fully leveled up, but I think both players are really good. I could see you wanting to go either way. I'm excited to see who votes where. Again, I'm not going to tell you how I rank these players because there is a chance that the Blizzard are going to be aggressive. I'm not going to say whether or not we will be. I will say I have 2 plans in my head and I have not decided which one I will be going for. 4-man, a 2-man, and a 1 are kind of the top 3. I'd say there's a mini tier break after that for Garrett, Graham, and Tommy McGee. But you guys also have pick 11. So I have to show you guys some good options for that pick as well. So let's get into that. I'm just going to go... Let's go off of 2K's rank, I guess. And just kind of start to go down the board. Show you some guys outside the top 6. Which I guess they don't have... they have Michael Graham as their 7th player. After that, there's still more centers on the board. There's a lot of centers kind of in the lottery projected in this class. He projects to have pretty good potential here. No badges for Christos Dorekas. Rebounding, interior defense. You have Omer Ozat, who's a defensive menace with 2 badges. Just average potential, but 2 badges. Ian Knox, paint protector, 0 badges, but a good interior defender and rebounder. Well above average potential on him. You have Mel Sanders. So it's centers and power forwards are plentiful in this class specifically, way more than in... I mean, actually, I feel like there's been a lot of classes that had a lot of good centers, but power forward, there are just more options in other classes. He's a little bit more of a long-term project, but the starting offense is actually still pretty solid. Not going to play good perimeter defense yet, but the post defense is okay. The rebounding is okay. Fairly high potential on Mel Saunders as well. So if you decide to go Novak over Thompson, and you can hope that you get Mel Sanders. Insane defender for a 6'8" center here. A little bit above average potential. Abe Berry, another center. Now, I will say, I think the Sonics will only have 1 center. So unless you want to have a UDFA as your backup center next year, center might need to be at least in play, not like pigeonhole yourself into it. It says A+ potential here, but we know it's just a little bit more above average. And honestly, what I've found, this potential right here is pretty reliable, where B+ is average. If we go here, he'll have average potential. So when you go into their prospect card, this potential is like not accurate at all. Here on the prospect screen, it's pretty accurate. So these 2 guys have the best potential in the class. After that, you actually have Ian Knox, who might have the third highest potential in this class. Then you're talking about Stan Hayes, Tommy McGee, and Christos Dorikas, as well as Mel Sanders. After that, you got a bunch of guys with kind of above average potential. You do get one here. Brian Sampson, another power forward. Defensively oriented. You got any plans? Was that meant to be Yo Feigned? You got any plans for the picks? So that's kind of the top of this class. It's probably the top 12 or so. We can keep going. Yeah, Knox could definitely play center. He'd be pretty small, but the interior defense and rebounding I think could help make up for it at least. Where do we stop? We stopped at Dirk Meyer. So Bruce Mogbo here. Another defensively oriented prospect with good athleticism. A- potential. Oh, he meant freak time. I see. That's right. I forgot the Bucks fan was named Freak Time. All right. Brandon James, just 6 feet tall. Like the 6 feet tall guys who are mostly defenders, I'm always skeptical of. I'll see, this guy has A- potential, but it's only average here. Seen Brian Sampson. Ricardo Alvarez. I gotta restart this. Ricardo Alvarez, interior scorer, mostly. Below average potential. Tyson Mobley. Here, this is his skill set, above average potential here. Good athlete. Kind of just a well-rounded project guy, but for 22 years old, you probably want a better starting point. But again, we're talking about like late lottery here. You can't get the perfect prospects. So that's kind of sorted by rank. Let's go over kind of the overalls now. Maybe the guys that have higher overall, but maybe not as good potential, because I do think there's value when you have 3 picks in the class to maybe just have your third player be a bench player. You know, somebody that you can count on from year one to play on the bench. Doesn't have insane upside, but there's value in that. What direction you want to go? If you want to go upside or if you want to go safety at 12 or 11, that's up to you. I just want to show you all the options. So not as much potential here from Howard York, but you're getting kind of just another pretty well-rounded skill set. How much is he going to improve is really the question there. The guy I like the better, if you're looking for kind of a safe wing, would be Mitch Parker. Which I know I said I wasn't going to reveal my rankings, but I think this one's pretty clear, so I don't think there's any point hiding it. Better three-point shooter, better defender, better IQ, better athlete. Mitch Parker here, I think, is a good... I don't think the Sonics have a second rounder. I think you guys had to trade it to get the Clippers pick. Yeah, no second rounders this year. You have these 2 picks. You have these 2 picks. And again, you guys will be going off of the Blizzard board because I think the Blizzard board is just better. So I want to give you guys the same information that I have. Only C+ potential though, but he does have All-Star ceiling. I should look at... He has All-NBA ceiling. So both of these guys' base potential is going to be pretty bad, but they still have that boom ceiling that's high. Anybody else that we haven't talked about? What about Eric Todd? Small forward here. Solid 3-point shooter. Kind of sees out elsewhere across the board. All NBA. Like a lot of these guys, if you only look at their ceiling, they look insane, but you got to look at their base potential because the probability... Yeah, the way I do it is I just put spoiler warning and then hit enter like 3 times. I don't know if that works on a phone, because I don't watch YouTube on my phone all that much. But then I'll just say the comment, so that you put enough space between spoiler warning at the top and then what. I don't think it's a big deal. I think people know, you know, if you're coming into a video that's a playoff series, don't read the comment section before you watch the video. But yeah, there's things you could do. This guy's a pretty good Brian Keefe. Pretty good interior defender. B potential at least. And 1 badge and all-star ceiling. Overall, I just think this is a very strong class. I think there's like a top 6. Usually there's like a top 3 or 4. This year there's like a top 6. And then even kind of the prospects after that, I feel like are maybe a little bit more in. Yeah, I like defensive centers too. I feel like defense is the number one thing I want out of my centers. You can get by with the center not being a major impact offensively, but if they suck defensively, it's hard to be a great defensive team without a good defensive center. That's just my team building strategy. I'm a Utah Jazz fan, so we grew up with Rudy Gobert, so that may or may not influence my opinion on it, though. Nurkic on the Suns is driving you insane. And Nurkic is not known for insanely good defense or anything. So that's pretty much it. I was planning on needing to come up with trade scenarios for you guys if you wanted to trade up to number 1. You got number 1. So there you have it. That's pretty much the draft. I mean, is there anything else that you guys feel like we need to see? We'll go through the NBA Combine so you guys can see the Combine as well. And that's pretty much going to wrap up the stream. As for the Blizzard, there are no staff decisions we need to make. The Supersonics need to hire a new head coach. Let's take a look at who's available. Steve Kerr. He has 9 offers. I doubt he'd come to the Sonics. I want to hide my face so I can see badges. This Howard guy seems pretty good. He's not a very good defensive coach, but he's a really good offensive coach. Mike D'Antoni for the memes. Don't think that's going to be possible. I could make a custom Mike D'Antoni, maybe. I mean, this guy's all offense, but he's got good badges for a young team. Really what you want in a young team is you want this mentor and teacher badge. So I think that could be pretty solid. I'll probably just have to... Eric Spoelstra, he's only getting 2 offers. Screw it. I'm going to try on Nick Spoelstra for you guys. I want you guys to have a dope coach. You want to be a defensive team? Is that because the Bucks have struggled defensively at times? All right. Eric Spoelstra is a pretty good defensive coach. I think that's the best defensive coach that... I think he's a made-up coach. Gary Howard. He doesn't have any of the young player badges, but he's solid. You want a defensive coach? Let's look here. What about Schmitz? Doesn't really have the badges you want. And then Spoelstra. So yeah. If you guys can get Spoelstra, I think that's an easy choice. Ime Udoka could be another fun one. I'm going to offer Ime Udoka as well. Actually, he has no offers right now. It was struggling earlier in the year. It's not as bad as it's improved, but early in the year the Bucks were struggling defensively. I'm going to offer both, mostly because I don't think Spoelstra will accept. But if Spoelstra accepts, then we're going Spoelstra for sure. Yeah, tentative. I couldn't offer him any more money. The problem with the guys that are getting multiple offers, I feel like they never accept your offer. But Ime Udoka here, 4 stars offense and defense, and he has the badges that you want. Teacher and mentor. I tried for Spoelstra. They wouldn't let me offer him any more money. I think this is your next best offense. He has a good offense and defensive ability. So I think that's pretty solid for you guys. I did as well as I could, because I don't think Kerr was ever going to sign here, and I don't. And then we tried for Spoelstra. Once Bobby Portis is off the team. All right, Combine now. Let's just kind of see who stands out. A power forward led the sprint. I need to scout him more because I don't know jack crap about him. It's mostly just a rebounder. His athleticism is D-. He just led all players in the sprint. D- athleticism, huh? All right. And Abe Barry was second, dude. What the crap? The big boys. Another guy with like not good athleticism. I hear running faster than anybody else. I feel like that's more of an indictment on the guard. Oh no, it's just because I wasn't okay. So Rudolph Guerra actually leads the sprint here. We know he's an athlete. B+ at least. Yeah, I think Spoelstra would get my vote for best coach. Here's a fun little player. Should probably scout him a little bit more with our pre-draft workouts. I don't have anything up to write this down. Let me pull up a Google Doc real quick to know who I want to. SG Scott Wingate. Let's scout him a little bit more, see what his potential is like. Really fast. Ulf Norberg. Another at least intriguing skill set. Let's put him on the board. Although I don't know if either of us are looking really for backup point guard in this class. Maybe. "23 years old here, but a good interior scorer. Has a badge, just starter ceiling. We don't know on him. We don't know on him. We know on him for sure. Don't know on him. Not as impressed with that skill set. Let's go Vert. Who can jump out the gym? Tommy McGee. And Brent Madsen. High flyer. Good interior scorer. Good athleticism. Posterizer, just starter ceiling. 65 overall to start. That's probably too bad to really continue looking at. A+ interior scoring, B+ athleticism for this guy. B+ potential. Only starter ceiling. But I'm at least interested in looking more at PF, Randall, Wade, getting him up to 100%. This is what I like doing with the Combine. Just help it fill in the gaps. Because I feel like I do a decent good at starting. But I do a decent job at scouting. But there's always going to be gaps because I can't sit there and look at prospect cards all day long. Where's his thing? Oh, I was just down low on it. Starter, I think I'm good on that. Oh, a ton of D's here. I think I'm good on that. All right. Who's making NBA threes? Garrett. Mark Hendricks. Pretty good scorer here. Small forward Mark Hendricks. So the Blizzard have the 28th pick in the draft. So I kind of got to find some players Gotta find some players that might be good for that spot. I don't want a 6 foot nothing point guard, and I don't really want point guard in this class. Keith Forbes. I gotta look at Keith Forbes. Ranked 22nd in the class, probably won't make it. But good shooter. All NBA ceiling is kind of nasty. I might be still, he's old, but I like Forbes. Another 6 foot point guard, but you know, with an immaculate throw at least. He's got that going for him. Anyway, I think that's pretty much going to wrap up the draft combine. Let's do pre-draft workouts. So we know for sure we want shooting guard Wingate. We want Norberg. We want Randall Wade. We want Hendricks. We want Forbes. Won't be able to get Hendricks. We only have him at 16%. Oh yeah, let's oh, this is the Sonics. No, I want to be the Blizzard. I have generally more information on these guys. Wingate, Norberg, Wade, Hendricks, and Forbes. Yeah, still we only have 15% on it. We actually have 100% on Forbes. We don't need to know. So I'm looking through the lens of the Sonics the whole time. I don't have nearly as much information as I do. Because they were auto scouting for the first half of the year, and I'll probably just keep them on auto scouting. Other than that, let's just find some information on the next highest overall guys, I think. There you go. Oh, whoops. Do I have to do it? No, okay. All right, what did we learn? So Hendricks didn't learn. His potential is actually pretty bad. I don't have it exactly, but it's not great. So the guy, so Norberg, we also don't get to 100%, but we'll get enough. Ooh, that's some rough potential. Should at least get only a starter ceiling, and for Hendricks, only a starter ceiling. Wingate. Oh, whoops, sorry. Only a starter ceiling. Woof. Randall Wade. 0 badges. Only slightly below average. Starter ceiling. Well, I think that's all the guys that we wanted to look at. So, to finish things off, I just want to show you guys your roster. So you know you have all the information that you need to make decisions. As a reminder, you guys will be forced to have 12 draft-only eligible players on your roster. That includes everybody on your roster right now and who you draft. And your entire rotation has to come from that roster. So if there's something that you're like, well, if we don't have a player to play there, let me put the webcam back up. If you're like, we don't have a good player to play there, you're going to have to find a way to get it in the draft, or you're going to be playing a UDFA there. For point guard, you have Longley and Wingate. A couple of youngsters. You'll have to re-sign both of them, although I think, at least in the case of Longley, it'll be a team option. You have Chris Dunn and Sean Martin. Sean Martin being the youngster you have there. Yeah, it's pretty much, I mean, Sean Martin's not bad. More of a backup, though. Paul George, Vince Williams. I think Vince Williams will be solid for you, at least to start. I don't know if you want him forever, especially because he's irritated, which is unfortunate. You'll have to get that relationship up. Maybe a trade deadline target if he can't get his relationship up. I think there's a chance Garrett goes over McGee just because of the overall. But I'm pretty sure the top 3 will be Novak, Thompson, and Hayes. The next 3 I think could go in really any order. Klitman has good, he's a good 3-and-D power forward. You have PJ Washington and Caleb Martin. And then, yeah, the only guy you have on contract right now is Ponesky, but you can bring back Mo Bamba or Luke Cornett. So that's your team. If that influences your rankings at all, there you have it. I want to give you all the information you need. Watch out for in the near future. It'll be, because I don't have to really come up with trade scenarios. I mean, I guess I could try to come up with a trade scenario to get from 5 to 2 if you guys wanted me to try. So you can get Novak and Thompson. I might try to do that, and then I'll let you guys vote on whether or not you want to do it. But yeah, I'll just see if there's a trade scenario that lets you come up from 5 to 2, how much it would take, and then I'll let you guys vote on whether or not you want to do it. That'll be the thing I do, but look out for that Google form to come out on the second channel in the near future. Again, I need this to be getting 20 plus votes in order for it to be worth it for me. So if you have any interest at all in the Seattle Supersonics subscriber team being a thing, subscribe to that channel, cast your votes. But that's all I've got here for this stream. Hope you enjoyed it. Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, or maybe 8:30 p.m. Eastern, will be the plan for the off-season stream. So you'll have up until a little bit before that to cast your votes, because I'll be tallying the votes before that. And then I will be using that draft board as the 100% draft board. I will not be allowing chat to change it at the last second, because that's going to be the draft board. So if the draft board has Novak at 1 and then all of a sudden chat wants Thompson, Novak's going, vice versa, whatever. So that's all I've got here for the episode. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back soon on Monday for the off season. And until then, bring the blizzard.